Hello everyone, it's Robin, the Artsy Bohemian. Today I am going to show you, I think this is going to be a series, but another style of an altered file folder. I just can't get enough of them. I've been inspired by my cottage crafts, I believe, Janine. I'll make sure. I might type it in. And several other people, because I want to do my version of it, and I also want to do something that I've seen. They're stacked envelopes, but they're kind of cockeyed, and I just love the way they look. So I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a series with those two things at least, and maybe tying them in somehow to make a journal. But first I wanted to get your opinion on a couple things. I had somebody ask if I would show how to make these little, let's see if I can, these little nests for journal jewelry. So if you are interested, let me know. You don't have to have wire wrapping experience. They're fairly simple. You just need some wire and some cutters and maybe a pair of chain nose pliers. So I could show you how to make these. They're super cute. They were on my last project with the tassel. And then the other thing is I was asked to teach at an art summit in October, and they wanted me to do some kind of version of a journal. So, and these are a bunch of fiber artists. Most of them make dolls. So for me, I thought it would be fun, and I thought for them too, and maybe you guys, if I did a class on dyeing fibers, which would in turn be used for some kind of a journal project. So let me know if that would be of interest to you. I'm trying to figure out ways to make it so that it's an efficient and non-messy version of dyeing fabrics with professional grade dyes, and also maybe some things that you might have in your own stash. Here's some pieces that I dyed years ago. These are velvet. So you can probably see the possibilities of making an amazingly gorgeous piece of a journal or parts of a journal with these techniques. I also have these amazing, and this is probably, I'm assuming this would be the most interesting for you guys, is dyeing gorgeous laces to add to your journals. And, you know, it doesn't have to be these bright colors. Just let me know if this appeals to you, the colors on the brighter side, or maybe a mix of neutrals and more shabby chic colors. I have like I said, most of these are bright in the bright colors. But I am up for any suggestions. Just let me know in the comments down below if this would be something of interest to you, because I have to have a sample to them by May, and time is going by so fast. So yeah, let me know. Alright, so as with any of my projects, you're going to be working with me. I have an idea, and I've seen my Cottage Crafts. Like I said, I believe that's the name of her YouTube channel. She does beautiful work. She's been on YouTube for quite a long time, and I think a lot of you might know her. But she did this really amazing version of a file folder that I haven't seen, with little inserts on the side for you to insert a small journal and then maybe a tiny little book. So I've kind of grabbed some supplies here. So this might be something that you might want to start gathering. I'm probably going to stick with the more neutral ivories and the vintage look. But I forgot I had this. This is an image from a postcard. And I love the colors. I just love the pensive look on her face. And I thought, well, maybe this would be kind of a theme. You can choose anything you want. And I just have little bits and pieces of papers here. Of course, as you know, when you follow me, I can completely change. So these are just some things I grabbed from my stash of way too much stuff. This is a very, very old album. I thought maybe I could put something like this in there. Of course, I would crop it. Papers. These were from when I was using Patty, what's her name? Patty Pockets. Stains by Patty Pockets. I found this little stash I forgot I had. And this beautiful old book page. I love the Art Nouveau border here. This is from Somerset Studio. Just grab things that are kind of catching your eyes at this point in time. Kind of stick with the color theme. We're going to be using a coffee dyed, or you can use a tea dyed, or you don't have to dye at all, file folder. And we're going to cut it, and part of this will be used to layer the insert that we'll be putting our journals in. So I hope you join along with me. Like I said, it's probably going to be a series. I'm going to try to keep these videos under an hour, hopefully 30 to 40 minutes. And yeah, I just grabbed some things that, like I said, caught my eye. This is some bark cloth that I've had that I took photocopies years ago. I just photocopied it onto some cardstock, and it kind of goes with the same colors I'm thinking of. So we're going to go ahead and cut the file folder. Put these to the side. So I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to sew it. And I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to go for it. Let's see, maybe like 2/3. Cut away 2/3 of it. So this part is going to lay here. And I didn't dye the back of this, but it's okay because it's going to be covered. I might wind up covering this, or maybe coffee dyeing this as well, because I'm going to stagger these so that one sits here and one is peeking out. And yeah, about 2/3 of it, just cut about 2/3 of it away. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to go sew this. You don't have to sew it. You can glue it, or you can use washi tape, or you can staple it. Stapling would look kind of cool. So I sewed the file folder, the front and back. Well, duh, huh? The front and back, of course. So it's like this. And then I want to cut this here. And use part of this, or both parts I should say, like this. But I'm not sure. I know for sure I'm going to be using this as an insert for journaling pages like Jeanette did, or like a small journal, you know, one that's not too weighty. I'm kind of thinking as I'm doing this too that it might be kind of cool to make it, you know, a little bit thicker to add stuff, which I kind of was messing around with this, but then I would have to make up for it here. I hope this is making sense. So I would make it thicker, like 1/4 of an inch thick, so that I can add some thicker ephemera. Maybe I'll do that. And it'll be the same process that I did when I made this. Just happen to have it here. My friend Sandra had given me a pattern to make this cute pocket. So it would be similar, but not as, it wouldn't open up as much. I mean, I guess it could, but it's kind of fun because it's like a little open box on there. So, but first what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around it, even though it might be covered, and I'm probably going to wind up cutting this down. Before I go any further, I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. I checked, and it's Jeanette from My Cottage Crafts, who I was inspired to make this other version of an altered file folder / journal. And then A Trace of Sparkle. Jennifer, I just love her work. I love both of their works. I love how girly they are and feminine, and I love all the laces they use, and they're so sweet. As I've said before, it'd be so neat to have like a conference, like a retreat with all the YouTubers that we know, and just craft for like a week or something. Okay, so that's what I did, and I will be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and make I should move this back. A gusset on this, just in case I want to make a gusset like this on this side here. So I'm gonna go do, has these folds in it already because of the file folder, so it's about 1/2 inch wide. So I'm gonna score it at 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. Well, I guess I should say 1/4 inch and then 1/2 inch. Because if I would have thought of it earlier, I probably would have made this a little bit wider. But instead, I might wind up with 2 pockets. So let's play along and see how this goes. This is an experiment. Robin, the artsy scientist. So I could glue it on top like this. I would probably cut that off. And then this would be glued down like this. So can you see what I'm talking about? You have to have 2 scores, one at 1/4 inch and one at 1/2 inch. The same for this side. And it makes a little slender container to add whatever you want to add to it. So might as well just go for it. So let's see how this works. Because this border here gives me an edge to glue on. And then the back I would just glue down here like that. So I'm going to trim the top looks about like 1 inch. Now I'm just thinking maybe I can score it and make a little cover, like a flap. So let's just keep experimenting here. Or you just may want to see what I come up with, because this isn't, I don't know if this is going to work or not. So with this one I'm going to score at 1 inch. And then at 3/4 of an inch. And that means I would have to cut this part off here. Nope, I'm going to have to make another score. I didn't score it the right place, so I'm going to score it at about 1/2 inch here. So if this works, I will give the measurements down below so you don't have to keep messing around not knowing if it's working or not. So there's a little flap. It goes like that. So that might work. So I would add it to the side. But first, before I do anything, before I glue these two pieces together, I want to kind of decorate this, maybe do some sewing. So I'm going to go sew the edges and I'll be right back. Okay, so I sewed. I just kind of went a little crazy with the sewing machine and did this swirl here. That's about as crazy as I get in my life right now. And I have decided, I think, to use this as a focal, and this is going to automatically determine the theme. So, and the color scheme that I'm going to be using, because I really love this old frame. I'm going to take this part off here because it's kind of falling apart anyway. It's so old. There's kind of a cool embossed piece on here. Might use it for some other part of the journal. It's too fragile, I think, to use as a pocket. So I'm going to do that. This is my thought process. This is the thing you guys always want to see. I'm not going to glue this just yet, but it's ready to be glued when I am ready. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to trim this. And actually, I'm going to take this off. And don't worry, I won't throw those away. They might be, that's kind of an interesting top. So who knows, that might become something on the side. Just happens to match the background of this, which is interesting. Let's see how well this fits in here. I have to cut some off the bottom, or it might fit in there. I think what I'll do is I will glue this to a heavier piece of cardstock because there's a sliver of it. It's just a little bit too narrow, but isn't that going to be pretty? I love those colors. So I went looking through my stash to see if I had any colors that would match. This looks really pretty with this, but it's not going to show, so this might be something I use later somewhere in the project. But this is perfect. This is from Stampin' Up, this paper. I remember I had this cardstock from years ago. So this will be perfect. I'm going to cut it no wider than the frame on the outsides and no deeper than the postcard itself, and then I'm going to slip it in. Another thing I'm going to do before I glue this down to the cardstock is I'm just going to gently edge the image on the sides. Just so that it looks blended. This is the mushroom Adirondack. I don't even know if this is available anymore, but it just happens to match. So and I don't know the name of this color from Stampin' Up. It was at least 15, 17 years ago. So I'm going to measure this, and I don't want to make it any wider than 4, maybe I'll do like 4 1/4 by the same length as this, by 5 1/2. I'll do a little bit more than that. Right now I have one of my favorite candles that I only burn every once in a while because there's none left. It's from Trader Joe's, and I think it was over the holiday season, over Christmas. It's a balsam candle, and my whole studio smells so good. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have rituals or smells, or do you burn candles or sage or music? What do you like to do when you're creating in your studio? And I don't know where if there's an image that you can get like this. I'm sure you can, something similar. But this was from an original postcard. It's just a Xerox copy. So let's see how this looks. I had to re-glue this because when I was looking at it, it was glued incorrectly. It was crooked, you know, the first go around. And then I thought it'd be cool to use it, you know, like to pull it out. But this is so fragile that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just put it in there permanently. So pretty. And those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. You might want to subscribe to my channel just by hitting the subscribe button and then click the bell icon, and you'll have 3 options, and you'll want to press the one that says all. That's the way you'll get notifications from YouTube whenever I post every Tuesday. Glue got everywhere. Kind of exploded. So that's cute. I like that. And then this was the top part of the old frame. And I'm going to glue it because it's falling apart, because I might use it for another part of the journal or the altered file folder. And I'm going to back it with some more of this cardstock because it is pretty brittle. Even though it's thick, it was bent so much here over the years that I'm just going to reinforce it. With some of this cardstock. Just going to glue that down, and then I'm going to cut it out. So while I'm waiting for this to dry, I think I'll do a little bit of stamping. I have some Asian inspired stamps. I used to use these a ton. Those of you who are rubber stampers know what I'm talking about. There were periods of time when stamping became really popular, and Asian themed cards and art books and journals were really popular. So I have several. This is from 1999, 22 years ago. So I might do some in light colors on here, knowing that it's possible it'll be covered up, but like Robin Brown says from Magnolia Pearl, and that doesn't even show, layer beauty with beauty. I'm thinking this might stick out like this, and might stamp a little bit more on the back. And this stamp was from PSX. Pretty sure that doesn't even exist anymore. It's from 1995. Earlier than I thought. So if you wanted to do something like this, you could be done at this point. It's pretty cool. You could glue everything together and have a fairly quick altered file folder, but I'm not going to do that, of course, because that's not what I do. I just keep adding and adding. So these are some pretty butterflies that are from they're copies from a book that I used to have. And I thought maybe they might look good. Let's see here. Kind of like them. There's some numbers on them, like these numbers right here. I might cut those out individually and maybe stick them on there somehow. So I've talked to you before about composition and how to put things together and how I do it. And so to me, these may complement, I'm not sure, because they kind of have that old vintage look, and butterflies make things look pretty anyway, right? I wouldn't use, more contemporary type stickers unless they looked old, because the whole theme of this is vintage looking. So that's kind of how I think, I guess. It's so hard to put into words how creative people think and why they do what they do, but I know that's always been a question. I get that so many times, and how I create and why I make the choices I make. Those of you who are new, this is called Fussy Cutting. Fussy. And then these little numbers here might be kind of neat on, I think they were the specimen numbers in this book. It was an identification book, like a guide handbook for butterflies from all over the world. I'm going to put these to the side because I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not. So that's a possibility. I'm not going to glue it down yet. Could be even coming out. I do like them. They are pretty. I think I'd have to reinforce them. Okay, so I have this paper, and I'm thinking I might want to add a little bit of it peeking out here. So what I'll do is I'll just cut a couple of strips and then kind of just play with it and let it sit. See if I like it. Just loving this composition so far. I'm just looking to see how wide this is. About 4.5. Maybe I'll do about 4. So the process I'm showing you is, this is kind of what I do a lot of times before I shoot a video, or at least I used to before you guys were starting to say you wanted to see how I did it. So this is kind of what goes on. I just play around with different looks and let it sit, and I don't glue anything down really. And I might just let it sit overnight and come back in the morning and see if I like it. So I'm liking that. And I'm just like, something that just came into my head is chops, which are the stamps that are used. I don't know if they still use them. I might even research it and let you know, but it's a stamp of your name, and that might not be the only thing that they're used for, but I have one. I have an original one with my name in the Chinese characters, and I think it's Chinese. And so I was thinking that would be kind of neat to make a wax seal with that. So, and then somehow put that on somewhere around here, maybe with some gold thread coming out from it. So those things kind of start happening when you create, and they're like little voices that you might hear, or little images or thoughts that kind of pop into your head. So kind of follow those little bits, those little trails, and just kind of see where they take you. They might not be good, they might not work out, but it's something you should just kind of follow along with. Okay, so I was searching around in my stash for more visuals and pieces to add, and the pile was getting big, so I kind of sifted away things and picked some other papers, and I found this. I had bought these a bazillion years ago. They're just acetate windows, so I'm adding one to the picture frame so it'll be protected. So I'm doing that. I dug up my chops and I looked them up. They are still being used in China for it's like a seal, and they're for important documents or just your signature. And I found that I had 2. I forgot that I had 2 of them. So this is kind of what they look like. Fortunately, it's translated, so this one's tiger. I probably was gifted this because I was born in the year of the tiger. And this one has my initial, and it also has my name on it. So they come with this red paste, which I can't even believe it's still usable, but I actually stamped it on a piece of paper and it still works. So it's pretty cool. So that's something I might add, like I said, with the wax. I stamped it with the red paste right there. So this is kind of what I was looking at it. I walked away, and then when I came back, I didn't really like it. So I'm gonna just kind of play around with some other papers and then probably call it a day for this particular video, because you could probably take this information and just use this, but I want to make it into a series because I want to keep adding to it, kind of like what I did over last year, almost about the same time last year. I did a really long series, and it turned out to be really cool, where we were able to make lots of different components and pages, and it made a really wonderful chunky journal in the end. So these are the other papers that I came up with. This is the original one, but I saw that I had this really pretty mulberry paper, and it's this really pale pink, so I thought, well, this might be pretty as well. I have this very, 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 very old like nightgown. Well, it's actually probably from the 20s. It was one of those beautiful silk bathrobes that women would wear, like you would see in those really fancy old movies. And it's literally shredded. The lace on it is still great, but this might be kind of cool because it's in the same color palette. So I kind of picked that up, and let's just kind of play around and see what else we can do here. This one was pretty kind of boring though. I don't know if I like that. This one's kind of neat. So this is what I do, guys. Just kind of play around with different things. I'm sure you do the same thing. Oh yeah, I have this black mulberry paper too. There's one other one. Oh, this piece here. It's almost like this could have been a part of her outfit, maybe, you know? Kind of making a story with this. Okay, I keep messing around with this and coming up with different collages, so I'm gonna just kind of leave it and then think about it. I realized that the dark red color that she has in here was contributing to my lack of for better words. So I added some of this darker strip color here of paper that has a floral on it, and I'm gonna just kind of sit with it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do a bigger floral thing up here, and yeah, these are just the little shreds of that vintage bathrobe. Alright, thanks you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. Get your bones ready of the file folder and craft along with me. Thank you.